This game is done right.
Won it. Just
Listen, it's not my. Listen.
Oh, she won. What did he say?
Nothing.
I missed that. What did he say?
He said, Coco Mama.
Coco Mama. Yes, people, what's good, and welcome back to Rum Reason. So we have Mac and we have our special guest today. We have Samantha. So Samantha, say hello to everybody.
Hello.
What's going on? Yeah, man. So we're back again. Well, we're back again. Is that the correct way to say it?
We're back.
We're back in it. Yeah.
And Sam, welcome.
Yeah, that's that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's correct England, like they say. In fact, before we go into it, yeah, we just wanted the people to know that Jay's he's just doing some stuff in the background, and yeah, he will be back in a couple of weeks.
Safe travels, Jay.
Safe travels, Jay, man. So what are we sampling today while we have a conversation, bro?
Today, for conversation starters, what do we have? Well, we have Deadman Fingers. Deadman Fingers, I don't think we have tested the Deadman Fingers. We have
Deadman's Fingers or King Kong's Fingers? Which one?
King Kong's Fingers. The Deadman's Fingers.
You love a spice rum, don't you?
It's not going to be like Sheely Twiff, is it, when the little caterpillar inside it?
Nah,
There's a dead man's finger inside.
Caterpillar, yeah. 1,000% proof.
I haven't seen that one for a long time.
So we do things differently here. Deadman's Fingers is a blend of rum and spices created at the Rum and Crab Shack in St. Ives, Cornwall, England, inspired by local flavors such as saffron, cake, spice fruit. Oh, no, spice fruit, sorry.
Spice rum.
Yeah. So is this a cake rum then?
We're gonna find out. Once we open it, we're gonna find out and give it a score. 4 or 5 or 6.
Tell you what, yeah. We'll start opening, and then you start telling us about the topic today, yeah. So give me your glasses. Let me start sorting this out.
So can I ask, how do you know the difference between a cake rum and a normal rum?
If it's in cake, it's a cake.
It's in it, yeah. That's the figure. Then.
Okay, fair enough.
So you can't have any because you're driving.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what we'll do is.
Well, you can.
I can have. I'm not driving till late this afternoon, so I can have a little one.
You see, I'm what you call a team.
Yeah. So bring your glass in. Let's sort you out, man.
I'm a team player, so Sam, I can take your load for you. So today,
team player. Yeah.
Today, in the meantime, the topic we're going to talk about is the legacy of colonialism and skin tone. Perspective of skin tone within the Caribbean. A bit of a background to that. We know the Caribbean is a very diverse background, diverse culture, with people coming from various parts of the world. From Europe to East India.
Yeah.
To Africa, and diverting in the Caribbean with our different cultures based on what we spoke about in our previous episode of different types of dance and music and so on. So again, this sort of form part of what we're going to talk about today, how skin tone have different perspective within the Caribbean with different people.
Bro, and I think it's really good that we have a woman here because it's so important because growing up, I don't know about you and how you grew up, women are maybe affected differently how they perceive when it comes to skin color and getting partners when it comes to skin color. When I was growing up, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So the lighter you are, kind of the more prettier you are, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all to do with beauty standards, isn't it? The lighter you are, like you said, that you're perceived to be more beautiful, and that's kind of the mindset that you're kind of taught from a very, very young age. And it's not even taught; it's just kind of known. No one has to tell you that; you know it.
So yes, my people, based on our topic, we're going to have some thought-provoking questions and discussions today to get deeper into this topic, and probably by the end of it, we can take away something where we can learn and help to improve our perception of our society and each other, and sort of appreciate each other a bit more.
Let's take it.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Rum Reason. Yes, it's lovely.
King Kong's finger, yeah?
Need to get another finger in this. No, sorry.
You get a finger in it, yeah? You put your little one in it, mate.
Just so you can ignore that comment.
So this year, yeah, I ordered Domino's for Christmas. But it was too good to be true. It was 2 in a packet for 10 quid.
Yeah.
Timo.
But it didn't say the 2 in the packet, huh?
Timo.
Yeah, that cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Was it from there?
Was it from Timo?
No, it's Amazon, £10 for 2, innit?
Oh, okay.
But it didn't say 2 of them had to combine to find one big domino.
Yeah,
so there's a mini dominoes. So good luck. Yeah, Mac. Yeah, you were saying colorisms, bro. How are we running?
Yes. So, my people, in the Caribbean, We have different race. We have the black or the darker skinned people from Africa, and even some in East India, or darker skinned people. But then in the Caribbean, racism. Um, how do you view racism in the Caribbean compared to what you probably see in heard or experience in the UK?
Bro, I don't know about you. For me, yeah, it's not just as bad. It's kind of like even deeper because it's your own people doing it to you, and it's so ingrained in the culture that it makes you feel that it's just an acceptable way to do it. I remember when I was a youth, yeah, we went to this place in Selisha called Diamond Waterfalls, and I asked this lady, yeah, could I have a chalk ice? It was like, you know, them chalk ice in the carton.
Yeah.
So she said, like, there's no chalk ice. Whatever you get, you have to take. But this white kid came through, asked for the same thing. She went to the bottom of the freezer
No way.
to get him the chalk ice and give it to him. So I told my mom, and my mom went in there and she gave her what was coming.
Lips.
Yeah.
A bit of lips.
Yeah.
A bit of lips. How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, man.
But that's deep rooted colonialism, isn't? You know, the fact that in the Caribbean we still view white people as being wealthy, having more money, having more status. So we often prioritize them only over our own people, and that's something that I see all the time in the Caribbean. You see,
It's ingrained.
yeah, it's ingrained. It is. It's like the whole thing with
Yeah.
supporting businesses. Like my dad always used to say, if you open a business in the Caribbean, if you put a white man as the front man, you'll get business. If you're the front man, people won't support you. And it's something that it's a problem
No.
in the black community in general. I think we're moving away from it, but I still think in some parts of the Caribbean it's still something that's an issue. But in terms of colorism, it's still, I think it's still pretty much ingrained. I think it's so deep rooted that it's hard to unpick it. It's hard to understand why we still feel like that and why that's still an issue in the Caribbean, the African community, the Indian community, any community of people of colour. There seems to be some sort of colorism that's linked directly to colonialism. And
It's sad, isn't it? Do you know why that is, though? Do you know, like, when they had slaves, what Europeans had slaves, right? The darker slaves, they would keep them in the field,
Yeah.
and the light-skinned slaves, they would keep them in the house.
No.
And sometimes the light-skinned slaves were the offspring or the children of the slave masters. So, naturally, well, no, not naturally, but as it evolved, who played that?
I played it. Is it my turn?
She actually played on the side cheating already. Yeah? So naturally,
That's the dead man's thing.
you know that.
Oh, sorry.
So naturally, over time, you isn't.
I've not got my
You will
glasses
see that.
on.
We forgive you this time. Don't let it happen
Are
again.
you cheating?
I thought that was two. I thought that was four, double, triple, double four.
She put a 4 and a 5 here, and she thought it was 2 5s.
Two fours.
Teeth.
But you have all your cards exposed.
Yeah, I can see everything. No, I'm not looking at that. But anyway,
He's not going to cheat.
so over time, you will find that that will be a thing. When you see the lighter slave, they in the house, they have access to this, to that. So you would say like, oh, this is who I want to be to. I wish I was this person. So over years and that's how it's just been perpetuated. Where you see the light skinned girl, you see the light skinned guy. They're supposed to be beautiful. They're supposed to be like the figure of what the standard of beauty is in the Caribbean. That's how I grew up. That's what I was seeing.
But it's more. But it's
Which is
also
sad.
But it's also to do with the mix of the different hair textures, the different skin tones, the
Even
different
hair
types of
textures, yeah.
features. Obviously, the features are going to be more European because of the mix. So it was seen as something exotic. That mix was seen as something exotic and something to be desired. It was very much something that was a fetish for a lot of white slave masters to not only to not only have a mixed kind of have a relationship with a mixed person, but it was seen as you've got one of the better ones. They're prettier because they're mixed. They've got longer hair. Their hair texture's different. They can wear their hair out. It's not a typical Afro hair where it defies gravity. Their hair falls like white European hair, and it was very much seen as a fetishism in some terms of they were seeking these women and Nina Simone wrote that song about the women. I can't remember what the song is called, but it was about women, different types of women in that time, and there was one about a mixed lady, and she's saying men desired her because of that, because of that mix, and I think for a long time that's why women are seen. I think women, from a woman's point of view, they see it as almost like people see them as better, and and I think there's a lot of hate within the black community for women even within the black community. I think you see a woman who's light skinned, and sometimes there's an immediate thought that you almost want to dislike that person for no reason. Mm-hmm. It's so inbuilt, it's so embedded in our psyche, in our it's so deep rooted in us that it's been passed through the generations, and because it's being manifested in each generation in terms of how we see beauty, there is still that deep rooted, in terms of, you look at women, and women will find they'll hate against their own women. That woman's also a black woman, but you'll see a light skinned woman, and you immediately feel almost self conscious because that woman, people are going to look at that woman and see that woman as more beautiful than you, as more desirable than you, and you see it when when I was growing up, the boys in my school were all looking for the light skinned girls. That was how it was. If you were a certain tone, you wouldn't get a look in. So it's so deep rooted that it's kind of gone through generation to generation to generation.
But if you look at this, when you have a youth, first people say, oh, that person's nice. Oh, the baby has nice hair. So that's the first thing we say, innit? Baby has nice hair. People say baby has nice skin, light skin. And why? Even things like colonialism, when people ask us about our children, are they behaving well, we have something negative to say about them, or are they doing well at school, we always have something negative to say about them. And that comes from when like slaves had babies and kids and that, we used to paint them in a bad light, so then they would not want them to go and work other places. We used to treat them like they weren't that good.
To be fair, the underlying thing of the topic that we're talking about today is colonialism, and that's how everything just drives back to colonialism. When you look at other groups of people, such as Asians, they have their own way in terms of color. I think lighter you are, the better. But they're all light skinned anyway.
Yeah.
The more pale,
Hollywood's a big one.
Yeah, the more pale you are, and even in East India, they have their own thing. Yeah. But when it comes to the Caribbean culture, everything sort of just lying back to colonialism, and again, it's more or less, if I may call it, brainwashing, in essence, because you took a group of people from their original settlement and you take them to another place. The original people die off, and they produce offspring. Now you have that offspring to your own mercy. You can tell him whatever you want to tell him, and he has no choice.
That's the thing. You don't even have to tell them. That's what I mean. I mean, from my own personal experience, I was never told that these things. I just felt these things, and I still have a relative to this day who every time I see that person, she says, "You look darker than the last time I saw you."
Yeah, and I think it's a compliment,
It's not a compliment. She knows it's not a compliment.
Yeah, they know it's not a compliment, but they think it's a compliment.
But why would you? Why are you looking at me and telling me why are you darker, or questioning my color? Have you got darker? And there was one comment that I'm not even going to mention, but it's always comparing you to someone else. It's always that comparison, and I think for me, well, I can only experience the Caribbean community. You're always being compared to somebody else in terms of how you're doing educationally, how you're doing, job-wise, whether you've got the house, the car, you're being compared all the time. And from my point of view, that was always about skin tone. It always stemmed back to skin tone. And so there is lots of insecurities within me about my own skin tone, and I don't consider myself to be particularly dark. But when I see nowadays, there's these black models who are being in the kind of press now, like in the modelling industry, and they're really dark skinned, and I just think that's so beautiful. And I just hate the fact that we still have this within us, that we hate ourselves because we don't look a certain way or we don't fit into a certain standard. And like you said, it all stems from colonialism.
And could it be from deep-rooted perception? And when I say that, I mean, like, even through the media, and all these other bits, magazines,
Oh, yeah.
everything that produce
Yeah.
information to us, that's pretty much been steered
Yeah.
towards that. The dollies that we had,
Yep.
the action man toys that we had, everything sort of go towards
I think
that.
That's a big
Yeah.
one. The dolls, even the dolls is a big
Yeah.
one. How many times it's only now you start seeing it,
Exactly.
the black doll, but it's always a white dolly.
I mean,
Blonde hair and,
yeah,
and
as a
that.
kid I
blue
used
eyes
to
and
walk.
that,
So
Yeah.
as a child,
Yeah.
nobody has to tell you that.
No.
Mm.
That is ingrained
Yeah.
in you that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're not that,
Yeah.
whatever it is. But
This
then
is beautiful and this is
again,
not.
that is perception. That is perception. Now, if we manage to break that loop and we now realize, okay, let me say, being out in Sahara, one of those places, what is required is a darker skin because the darker skin thrive more out there, melanin and the rest of it. And oh yeah, you're the gold or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have that mindset. Now you're in that place. Now somebody, oh yeah, you look darker. You know what? Oh yeah, I'm the gold dust. This is what I want because that's how your mind
Yeah.
see it. And again, once you see yourself in that, then now somebody talk about your skin tone and the rest of it. No, that doesn't bother you because you understand that concept. But once you sort of lock your mind into thinking the old thinking or the
Yeah.
thinking that was put on to you to say, oh, lighter skin tone is better than, you find yourself in problems there. You need to understand that that is a perception given unto you by man, and that can be broken. Same as, we talk about slavery, which was a physical thing, but there's also mental slavery. We might get away in the
Yeah.
physical chain and shackles, but we're still locked in the mental aspect.
But it's the mental side of it.
It's
But I
the
think
mental side.
I think like with our generation now, we are not but generation before, we are more clocked on because we have access to information, the internet, social media. We spoke about that in the last season, last episode about where people came from different parts of the world, Africa, and that came to the Caribbean. But we need to understand their culture got taken away, and they had to adapt or adopt the cultures that were given to them. And imagine taking people that's different languages, different bits of culture, and fused. And then once it's fused, you have people come and select from these people to have children with as a control mechanisms to keep them in line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so naturally it's hard to think, okay, this, this light-skinned person, like I said, like, has all the answers. This light-skinned person takes church. This light-skinned person works in the big house,
Because
better
they were-
clothes
they
than
were
me.
They were given that role,
Yeah.
and then you have no say.
Yeah.
You need to just go along and that
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
onward.
But it's a status, isn't it?
It's
They
a
was given a
status,
role
yeah,
that was
yeah.
in control, in management of you.
Yeah.
So they got the better jobs. They were the ones that were overseeing certain aspects of whatever was going on. So it was that step up that they saw, and they saw it from the point of, well, all these people are
Yeah.
look a certain way.
Here's one for you. Let me ask you guys a question. Ever been in the Caribbean, yeah, and see a light-skinned person in a suit and automatically think that person's more intelligent than me? For some unknown reason, you think, oh, this person must have a good job. This person might be more intelligent than me.
Yes,
Subconsciously.
Yes.
Yes, I think, yeah.
Yes. Back in the Caribbean. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
But now, no. Now. And the thing is, because you understand because
Yeah.
you've travelled, innit?
Mm.
Yeah.
But growing up there, bro, I don't know if you experienced that, Sam.
No, definitely. I think you're like I said, it's that inbuilt thing where you feel that it's like, yeah, it's really subconsciously you see certain things, you see certain people, and you immediately downgrade yourself in comparison to that person.
It was done by design. It's that.
Of course it was.
That we call it drop in a bucket ripple effect. Drop a water in a bucket and it spreads out. In the earlier days, like when countries just started to get their independence and so on in the Caribbean, what did the colonial masters? What did they do? They left a white guy as a governor, or whoever.
Yeah.
Oh, we're out of it, but you're gonna answer to this guy.
Yeah.
He's a European.
Still.
You're gonna answer to it.
Yeah.
So we are slowly coming out of that era where we understand, like, wait, hang on.
Are
a
we
minute.
though, bro? Are
Well,
we?
I think
It's
because-
colonialism?
Because
we're
no,
being recolonized at the moment, aren't we, by the Chinese?
Well, like, it depends. No, I mean,
Not just
that's
the
a whole
Chinese.
different ball game.
Yeah, that
That's
is
a
a
whole
whole-
different ball game. So, colonialism, where you exploiting people based on their resources and all that. Yes, that happened back then. It is happening now, but then again, it's a whole We are more entering into a more global economy these days, and then you have to find countries to support you. So that's pretty much a different element.
Yeah, but all right.
So,
But I do agree with Mac in terms of the recolonization of the Caribbean right now is a completely different kettle of fish in terms of it's not just about it's very embedded in like the global economy, money, corruption. There's a very different set of objectives. You know, the selling off Caribbean land.
At what cost?
No, I mean it's going to come out as a huge cost. I mean, in a few 10 years from now, we're going to feel the impact of what's going on. But the people who are going to benefit from it are going to be laughing all the way to the bank. They're not going to care. But the impact to the people who live in the Caribbean is going to be huge.
Intertwine that with colonialism. Colonialism is still there, globally. It is still there. Previously, it was from royal families, kings, queens, you know what I mean, the Columbuses and the rest of it. Now it's shifted to politicians. And that is more colonialism. Now it comes in part of geopolitics. And if you understand geopolitics, then therefore colonialism is still there in a different form. Countries who have the power in terms of money can dictate. You look at other countries who may have resources, but they don't have that type of power to dictate. They come with a big package deal. Hey, this is what we can do. This is how we can help you. They look at your weaknesses, your strengths, SWOT analysis, weaknesses, your strengths, the rest of it, opportunities. They give you opportunities and exploit your weaknesses to show you that you can gain strength.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody wants to take part in a global economy.
Yeah.
You're going to do something for your country. Again, but if you're blind, you can go down the wrong road, corruption. And once you enter into corruption, that's who you're done. If you try to become a clean individual, you have to stand up. Your people need to understand you. But if your leadership style is not adequate, as in you do not seek to understand what you want to tell people, let alone for people to understand you, you're going to be standing on your own. So when it's time for people to stand around you and support you as a leader, you're going to lose. And therefore now you allow outsiders to come in and take you up.
Yeah.
So again, understanding that if we don't find the reason to stand together as one another, with one another, we can always be in that mentality. So even though we are exposed to technology for all the information's sake, yes, we can provide argument, we can see on a different perspective, yes, but we need that one moment where we stand up and say, hey, this is what we stand for, this is what we're going to do. And we see on a daily basis, the Burkina Faso, even going back a couple of years with the Chinese and the British want to fight the Chinese stand up. You know, workplaces, what's our experience with different skin tone in the workplace? Like for instance, it wasn't a thing I noticed until I remember my grandmother spoke about it in St. Vincent. The Prime Minister for the longest while, well, Ralph Gonsalves has been there for quite a long time, but he's always been a light-skinned person. What we call a Douglas person, like, you know, black Portuguese or yeah. But you know, it's for a long, maybe say,
like they have white lineage kind of thing.
Yes, for a long. I think the first Prime Minister in Simmons was I don't know if he was a half caste. Black man, Milton Cato.
Similar St. Lucia, most of them being.
Yeah, and
Kenny Anthony is white lineage.
And then second one was James Mitchell, he again, and then Ralph Gonsalves. So he never really had that opportunity to say, well, have a black person up there. And the thing is, no, it's still ingrained so bad that even though you have black leaders who are pretty much adequate to do the job, they will struggle to represent the country because you just need somebody with a bit of I wouldn't say a color, but a lighter skin and less faculty. Less faculty. Just show your skin and you're good.
St. Lucia had a white Prime Minister, Alan Chasney.
Yeah.
Canadian. I don't know if he was born in St. Lucia, but Canadian. He's a St. Lucian citizen.
Canadian.
Yeah, and then Prime Minister of St. Lucia. I was like, what? St. Lucia, you can't figure it out for yourself with a local person?
But I think that goes back to what Mac's saying, you know, that in terms of how we still view lighter skin.
The drop in water effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We don't realise that we're doing it. The people of St. Lucia, the people of St. Vincent don't realise that they're looking at somebody and saying over someone with darker skin and saying, I trust that person more than that person. It's just, like I said, it's such a subconscious thing that we don't even realise we're
And
doing
that's
it
the
half
thing.
the time.
I like the fact that you mentioned that. You said we trust them more because they have lighter skin, and that's such a powerful thing you just mentioned
Drop
there.
in water effect. It affects
facts.
your perception. It affects
But
your
then we trust them
perception.
more because we think that they're more educated. We think that they understand government better.
Because that's what
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're
So
told.
it's like almost like we look at ourselves and we almost saying that we're not capable. We're looking at an image of ourselves and saying we're not capable.
And that brings us back to the whole the lighter slaves in the big house with all the privilege, and darker slaves in the freaking field.
Yeah.
Perception.
Precisely that, and that's
Perception.
how. Yeah, perception.
Yeah. Bad.
Yeah.
We don't think that's trauma that we've experienced. It was just
Of
It,
being,
it is.
course
It
it's
is.
trauma.
But why is it that other groups of people may or will question that, but we don't? We are capable of questioning.
Yeah.
We have knowledge. We have knowledge.
course we have.
Vast
We're amazing.
amount of knowledge. The amount of things that we've built and created and
Yeah, of
invented.
course.
We have knowledge, but we don't question things in a way that demands answers. Why don't we question it? Because they are already taking away that power of questioning.
Yeah.
Let me explain. First of all, again, a transition from Africa to Caribbean and so on, taking away your power to question anything because there's nobody there to give you the right answer. So you asking me, I tell you what I want you
No.
to know. Yeah, that's one. Second thing, again, for those in areas who were in position of obtaining knowledge, let's say back in Africa or so on, they were in position of obtaining knowledge. What did they do? That person who was there, that key person who was the driving force, what did they do to him? They make an example of him.
Yeah.
That makes everybody what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Scared. Scared to ask the question. Who are you scared to ask the question to?
Put you back in your place.
The
innit?
guy with the lighter skin.
Yeah.
Right? And again, this goes so deep. Like, before this slavery transition, transatlantic slavery and so on, Africa had its own religion. They believe in their own.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Now all of a sudden, you've been told there's a book, and if you open that book, a drawing, by a European that says this guy with a lighter skin, he's gonna save you.
Yep.
And at the meantime, I have a lighter skin, and I'm gonna make your life miserable.
Yes.
And for you
Yeah.
to live a good life, you need to go according to what this guy with the lighter skin says, which represents me. So, get in line, my man.
Yeah.
Get in line.
This is something that that whole colonialism empire mentality has been repeated in so many different cultures and so many different. You think of the Native Americans and how they treated a lot of the Native American girls in terms of they literally tried to breed the Native American out of them with indoctrination of religion and how they were treated and
Nice one.
how they actually used religion as a way of making them feel like what they believed and what they grew up with, what their culture was not right.
Yeah. That
it's-
justification of what I do, innit?
Yeah. And it's, that's something that is still, we still go to church, we still, as black people, go to church and there's a picture of white Jesus, on the thing.
White Jesus. White Jesus, baby.
Well, I mean,
What's good?
But yeah.
My Jay said, in Trinidad, they have so many different religions in Trinidad. To call Trinidad to say, it's a Catholic society or it's a Baptist society or whatever, it's difficult to call Trinidad what it is. So again, based from his perception there, you could imagine what it is like in Trinidad with, again, as you say, some religion have a way of indoctrination. And that is a key driver behind
Oh, God, yeah.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Religion is a key. Because it's a belief.
yeah.
Once you force a belief into people,
I mean, we're still there, aren't we? You can see it in like I said, in churches. You go into a black person's house in terms of they're really religious. You'll see a picture of Jesus in the sense of what we've been told
Is it
Jesus
Jesus?
looks like.
is it Jesus?
Well, the image of what we've been taught to think of what Jesus is,
Yeah.
and
I just dropped a domino, man. What the hell?
This one.
I don't even know that in the Fiji,
That one.
So you have to shut up with my business, and I'm playing that one.
it's a real
Play that one.
like I say, it's a real subconscious thing. And I think that's where when you speak to other countries, and like you see what's happening in Africa at the moment. Of course, we're all Africans at the end of the day, but we're not from direct descent from Africa. So you see what's happening in Congo, where they are
Even literally
the foundation on their faces is white. It's so light that they just got their faces in this white, and that's a beauty standard out there. And I just don't understand it. And the skin bleaching, in Jamaica,
that's indoctrination.
Of course it is. I mean, why are we still in this day and age still saying to ourselves that we need to be lighter skinned?
White Jesus.
White Jesus. Black Jesus.
White Jesus. But they love Jesus.
Indoctrination.
But look at this. Have you seen that thing where they go in that bath? Yeah, they go in that bath for a couple of minutes. And they take a stick and they peel it off the melanin layer of the body. Have you seen that here, bro?
What?
Yeah, the skin is like peeling off like...
Bleach skin is peeling that off, bro.
It's disturbing. It's disturbing how we're going so backwards at the moment.
You have mental issues.
This is the thing.
You have to.
If you're in a culture that's telling you that this is... I mean, look at Jamaica for instance. We don't have any Jamaican people representing us today, but look at Jamaica. I mean, that skin bleaching thing has been going on for years, and it's still happening. I mean, the skin bleaching industry is worth millions, billions, probably billions of dollars in terms of, and not just in black cultures. It's also in Korean cultures. It's also
Excuse me. Sorry. What happened there, Mac?
Some game.
No. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
No, this game is going to be right.
So who won then?
Listen, it's not my... Listen,
she won.
I was saying...
She teeth, man. She teeth.
We're not saying the sexism in it.
Listen, I was saying, whose turn is it? I've got too many dominoes. You all didn't pay attention. Not my fault. If I win, I win.
Listen, Matt, put that blank one back here, and then double six goes down, and everyone takes it.
I got like 21 dominoes there, brother, man. Like, no.
Just play that thing, man.
I've got 9. I've got 9. Who's got...
You got... Listen, he got what? 8.
I got the same amount as you, my G.
Just look at the 10
How many you got
fingers,
there?
bro. 10 fingers. 10 fingers.
I've got 9.
You got 10.
I got 10
Give me one.
fingers.
Give me one. No, give me one. That's 9. How many you got?
I've got 9.
Got 9.
Okay.
You gonna go back to school?
I can't lift up these dominoes. That's why I have to put it like this.
He's drinking King Kong. He's drinking the King Kong finger, so that's why he's lean. He can't count anymore.
My hands are too delicate to hold the dominoes properly.
I'm not going to count the fingers, people.
Hey, you see how Sam's putting up her dominoes there?
I can't hold these
Like
things. They're too small.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
But yeah, man, that's a good point. That this colonialism.
Colorism.
Colorism.
It's colorism or colonialism we're talking about?
Colorism.
Colonialism linked to colorism.
Yeah, colorism.
So the 2 C's, yeah? Okay. So
Bruh, you want another fix?
you want another one?
Me, I'm good.
Look, you want me to fix you another one?
Give me the bottle, I'm good. Nice, alright. So why does it say dead man fingers though? Is it one finger or 2? Is it one finger?
Whatever finger you like.
2.
How you know it's 2 fingers?
Two fingers. Dead man fingers.
It's peace, by the way. Not
Hey, it says S at the end.
Okay.
It says S at the end, so it's plural. So
SOP.
It's not one.
Plural, so fingers, yeah?
Fingers.
and it's dead man's, so it could be more than one man's fingers.
But it should be men though, dead men's fingers.
But why is it? So is that right?
So
dead man's
question
fingers.
is it a ladies' drink now?
It's one man and his fingers, so it's a dead man's fingers.
So is it a ladies' drink?
Huh?
Is it a ladies' drink? Question. Come on.
I think the word dead will tell you that what you need to know.
Well,
Put the W in front of it.
well, dead. When a person is dead, what happens? They're stiff. Just questions.
How?
Oh God.
Where, when, and how?
Listen, every time we have a conversation with this guy, he goes on the zesty end way.
Well, let me ask you a question. So, as you mentioned that, we as parents, we have to. I'm looking back now at our foreparents who didn't really have a choice when things were taken away from them. They couldn't empower or do it. Helpless, right? We are now in that position. We're not helpless.
No,
we have
not.
all of the things of
We have all information.
So now the question is now, how do you feel being able to provide that information to your children and so on. But the answer was like, you feel helpless, you feel the rest of it. But no, what I'm looking at now is that, we should feel empowered and more empowered than our foreparents who did not have that opportunity.
No, they didn't.
To tell our children which is wrong, which is right, how to think, and the rest of it. We have that. And I think, rather than, having that perception of feeling down with ourselves and, it makes us feel bad, switch it around. This is our time to feel powerful because we know we can give to our children what our foreparents cannot give. So again, it's perception. It's not to make you feel down. Hey, you now have the power.
It's not to victim. You're not to make you into a victim. It's to make you.
You now have the power to change your world.
Yeah.
Go for it. And
I think that's a really important point in terms of you're not trying to create a victim mentality that you're going to be treated different because of this or this or this or this.
You're going to ring it. You're going to ring it.
We're trying to empower our children to understand that the world isn't necessarily with you, but you have the power to make the choices. You have the power to drive yourself forward. You have the power to pursue anything you want to do, even though you have all these barriers in front of you. And that, I think that's a really important message in terms of everything that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Good
done.
Right. Okay. So I've got a question for you. Yeah. You got your dominoes. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me about your name. The origins of your name.
My name. So my name is Kesron. Kesron is unique. That's mine. So anyway, you Google that. You're gonna find me.
What's your last name?
My last name is MacDonald. MacDonald is a
Scottish.
It's a Scottish surname, which means son of wall rulers.
Have you been?
I am from the Caribbean.
You're from the Caribbean, yeah?
Yes.
Have you been to Bristol? Have you been to the Bristol Cathedral, where they show where the origins of certain plantations and certain old plantation owners, how the slaves have their names, like McDonald. There's other names in the Caribbean, Jamaican plantations, Trinidad. Why they have these last names?
Plantation owners.
Yeah, it's just to show
and
who they owned.
trace it.
They gave them the surname so they knew which slaves were theirs.
Of the person that owned them. So
should I be proud of being called MacDonald?
No, it's linked to slavery.
Linked to slavery, bro.
The whole thing is linked to slavery.
Bro, listen.
That's not your family's
I'm now going to
original
change
name.
my name to Obungwe.
What was it?
Obungwe. I don't know what it's called. It's just me.
I got a bridge. He's gone. I call him Kufuma.
Kufuma. Whatever. Listen, what does that mean?
Listen, yeah.
I just name I made up for him, but that sounds a bit racist. But let's not go into that.
Thing?
But what I'm saying is, we're talking earlier about origins of names and
Who?
colonial. What? What did he say?
Nothing.
I missed that. What did he say?
He said Coco Mamao.
Coco Mama.
Bro, left that alone.
Oh God! Who said this into play?
Left that alone, bro.
I just played.
Oh mate.
Bro, dead man fingers is waking up shit.
God. But look at this, yeah. Go back to names and colorisms, colonialisms.
Bro, someone's dying.
My dad's name.
Yes.
My dad's got 3 names, yeah.
Bro, listen. What domino is this?
But yeah, that's a lot of twos, isn't it?
You're the one that did the buttering up, didn't you?
He just like wind the dominoes up.
He's the one that did the buttering up.
He's the worst domino player in the world. He's got 3 names, yeah.
Me.
My dad, and I'll say to you, all 3 names are German. So he's got Willy Bald, Willowwood, Charles. But if
Willy what?
Willy Bald,
Willowwood,
Charles. Yeah.
Listen, don't laugh at the man's dad's name.
No, look at that name, yeah. But look at this, yeah. But look at this.
Respectfully.
All 3 of them are German names. I was like,
what's that? Willy what?
Willy Bald.
Willy Bald.
Willy Bald.
Willowwood.
Willy Wood.
So it'd be Willowwood.
Willowwood, Charles.
Willy
All of them.
Bald.
But if you ever say it in a German way, W is a V. So it'd be Willibald, Willowwood,
yes.
Charles.
They're kind of old school names. I don't think you'd find people like that.
That's what I'm saying about colorism and colonialism. A lot of the names that we have as Caribbean people derive from slave owners.
Yeah,
They're not ours. They're not original names.
And that's why we behave the way we behave, because our culture really is pretty much diverse.
It's ingrained in.
It's diverse. It's a mixture of oh, Indians have something, the whatever have something. We all come together because we are on the same page.
Yeah.
We've been not exposed. We've been what's the word? Taken advantage of
Yeah.
type of thing. You know, we all in the same boat. We understand each other. Okay, but here we are. Let's have a grand time. Screw
Yeah.
this. Let's do this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you do your barbecue, you do this, and it could all become one experience. This is where and that's pretty much is the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you go to a more, call it pedigree type of society, it's different.
What is
It
a pedigree of society? How do you mean?
Pedigree, black, not mixed up or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, like a pedigree.
But the whole Caribbean, I mean, I don't know anywhere in the Caribbean where there isn't some kind of mix of the
The whole
pure
Caribbean.
kind of pure
No.
There is no pureness.
African blood.
There is
Actually,
no pureness.
no. Actually, there's a place in Saint Lucia called Bouton.
Mm-hmm.
And this is button in English, but Bouton is it's so crazy. Bouton is on the west coast of the island, and it's imagine that you have a population of original St. Lucians that's isolated from the rest of the general population. So a lot of the old school cultures, a lot of the old school Creole language, a lot of the isms, a lot of the food, a lot of the community isms that they have, they maintain that through Bouton. I remember being a teenager in Bouton and they received electricity quite late into the 90s, I believe.
But yeah.
You usually have to drive through a little gap in like a mountain to get to it. But it was like a protected St. Lucian. You know, like in Dominica, you have the Carib.
No, I don't know.
You know about that, no? So in Dominica, you have the Caribs and you have the Carib Reservation, and it's pure Caribs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the culture is protected. Bouton was similar to that.
Are they Caribs?
They
No.
weren't Caribs. They were like original St. Lucians. I think they were. If I may be paraphrasing it, but they may be like the original like people of St. Lucia with the original culture that maintained themselves in that area there.
Interesting.
It's quite interesting in
topic.
Bouton.
And, to be fairness, my comment is not to take anything away from what you said. In terms of originality in the Caribbean, from my perspective, before it's been called Caribbean from the Europeans, it's part of Amerindian. Amerindians.
Yes, of
Is
course.
it Amerindians?
Yeah.
All right. These were the original people.
Yeah, of course.
So when we have blacks come over to call them originals, well, I mean,
I
there
suppose-
is a way before we call them originals because, like St. Vincent, St. Vincent wasn't a slave-run country, right? The people who went to St. Vincent, we don't have any history in St. Vincent to say it was run by slave owners or anything like that. It was people like from the Barbados or wherever went to St. Vincent to live and form that culture. So across the Caribbean, apart from places like Jamaica, maybe Barbados and so on, were prominent in the slave trade, are embedded into that. Other countries may not. So when we talk about originality, it's like, originality how?
Yeah.
Originality who?
I suppose.
You know, that type of
I
thing.
suppose,
But again, not taking away from what
Yeah.
you said, but just deeper questions.
Yeah.
What's the original, as in like the culture that was
descendants of
established in
slaves,
St. Lucia
yeah.
after slavery?
Yeah.
Right.
So when
right.
St. Lucia got into its own identity, the Peter in Bouton really maintained that. It was just such a beautiful thing to hear of, to see videos of, like solar power, electricity, water, these things. It came later to them because they were so, this is what I read, they were so happy with the way things were working and how the society ran. It was just beautiful.
Yeah. It's because I remember I was talking about on one of my lectures, we were asked about what British values mean to us, because it's a big thing in education now to teach British values. Now, I don't know if anybody knows what that
So you
means.
look at me, yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows what that actually means, but when they asked me the question, what does British values mean to me? I basically said, well, my history is I was born here,
Oh,
but
you're
my
British?
but my I'm descendants from first generation, from people who came from immigrants who came from St.
Listen,
Lucia.
you're British, you know.
No. She's
No.
a British St. Lucia. British St. Lucia. If you're British, you're British. Yeah, man. It's rude, isn't it?
He's rude.
Kick him out.
Very rude. Very rude. Come on. Okay, people. come on.
Anywho,
She's British. She's British. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, Sam.
I am British.
Sam, you know I love you. You know I love
I am British, but I wouldn't say that. Listen, why are people? Listen, I know you guys are intimidated by my finesse in terms of dominoes.
you. No, we're not. We're just watching the game.
Blind luck you. That's how she's winning.
Yeah, we're just watching the game. See that?
Anyway,
Right there, yeah.
Ryan.
So this is a British way of playing domino. But
So, you see how I'm getting insulted right now.
come on.
So I was
It's
saying,
all
that obviously, my history is very much. I'm firstborn in terms of generational wise from immigrants who came from St. Lucia.
Yeah.
And what British values means to me is very different to what British values would mean to someone who was from a European culture, from a white culture, from an English culture. So
What does it mean for you?
For me, it's steeped in colonialism. British values, to me, when I think of British values, I'm thinking about history. I'm thinking about how things came to be.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say British values, I'm thinking about the time. Jesus Christ, you lot are such. I don't like you two.
On camera.
They're cheating. They're trying to, because I
No,
can't hold
we're
the
not
dominoes because I'm such a lady.
Yeah, we're
And
not
my
cheating.
hands aren't hard like theirs, and they can't hold. They
We're
can't
not-
hold
we're
the
not
dominoes.
cheating.
It's quite dangerous. The dominoes are just too small. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
I was saying, the British and the French fought over St. Lucia 14 times to get power over it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
7 British,
14.
7 times British, 7 times French.
Yeah.
Right.
Exchanged
Exchange
hands
hands,
14 times.
Over what period? Like 50 years, 60 years?
So
or-
like Napoleon.
Napoleon times.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
You know Admiral is it Rodney? Admiral Rodney?
Yes.
You got it right.
What? General Rod. What's wrong with this guy?
Yay. Not only is he cheating.
Bro, listen. I just
I'll
asked
go
if you
that
had a rod, man.
But yeah,
Come on.
yeah. Sorry, Sam. You were saying as you were rudely interrupted.
No, I was saying, so British values means to me something very, very different because
Yes.
it is steeped in the history of the Caribbean and colonialism and empire
Yeah.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of what you were saying about, the people who originate from the Caribbean, yes, they were the Amerindians, they were the Arawaks, the Caribs. Arawaks or the Caribs, which one was
Amerindians.
Amerindians, yeah. But obviously the people who now live in the Caribbean are mainly the descendants of the slaves.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I know my maiden surname is French. And like a lot of my family, there's a lot of French surnames in St. Lucia.
What's your surname?
But you know what that is?
Well, if I tell you this on camera, I might have to kill you.
Okay.
Have to get rid of it.
Kill me on camera. Kill me on camera.
A lot of slaves that came to St. Lucia settled in Martinique first.
And then move over
And
to
then
St.
moved to St.
Lucia.
Lucia.
Or like Barbados and just to
Because if
St.
you
Vincent.
look at like when they come from Africa, they used to go to America.
Yeah.
From America, they used to go to like South Carolina, the Geechee region,
Whose turn is it, by the way?
and then come to the St. Lucia and the Caribbean. So Africa, South America, North America, and then fits the Caribbean.
Okay. So Martinique.
But excuse me, Mac. That's an idiot move because you just squared the game. The 7 pieces, you just played the last 2 5s on either end. So what are you gonna do?
196 Oh, screw it. No, I meant to put it that way. Sorry. It's a drink. Okay, sorry, never mind.
Oh, I don't knock them.
When I see him do that, I was like, what are you doing?
The man made me knock, and I don't need to knock.
No. Okay, cool. Extend again. In Caribbean, we call this extension. Yeah? No, you're trying to school me now. Okay.
So what were we saying?
Yeah, you were talking about like your name is Serrier.
Jesus Christ, I don't want to say my name.
But how do you spell your name? It's just
Serrier.
Serieux.
What?
Serieux.
Is that
Serrier.
Serieux. So
that's French?
it's French, yeah.
Your name's Scottish. My name's German. You see how mad colonialism and colorism actually intertwines, and culturism?
So, I'm sure we all had parents,
Yes.
4 parents,
Yes.
a mom and a dad.
Yes.
So some German guy fancies some chocolate somewhere about, and some French guy fancies
No,
some
but-
chocolate, and some Scottish guy fancies
Before
some
that,
chocolate.
man, before that.
And you get where we're coming from.
No, but remember what we said about the slave masters used to call their slaves their surnames to know who they own, to
Sure,
know
Yeah,
which
but
slaves were
calling
which.
somebody a name doesn't change the color of the skin.
No, it doesn't change color of the skin.
No.
So what I don't understand what you're saying.
It shows ownership.
It showed
Okay.
the name was passed down because it was ownership.
Ah, okay. I get you. I need to filter my thinking.
You did filter them dominoes and play properly. That's what you need to do.
Right, is my game now?
Yeah.
I'm playing this domino again.
Just knock, man, because you know it's coming.
What do you mean just
No,
now?
no, no.
You play that.
You see,
Hello,
you see how
people.
confident he is there, innit?
Across the world, my name is
The
Kezon
camera's over there,
McDonald.
man.
He won one game. And he has to make a
I
speech.
just won the game. I just won the game.
One game.
Across the world.
Just the one.
Across the world. My name is
Just the
Kezon
one.
McDonald. I just won the game. Yeah? Cool.
Yeah. So how are we recapping today then? Like what with the colorism, colonialism, and stuff like
I
that.
think it's just to say that it's still prevalent in our culture, in our
That's it.
thinking.
Do we want it to?
We don't want it to be.
Okay, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently? I think the education of our children.
Mm-hmm.
I
Definitely.
think also changing the mindset of how we think about ourselves, in terms of how we see ourselves in the world,
It's not about
which isn't easy to do because I think when you're raised thinking a certain way, that changing that mindset is a difficult thing to do. But I think if we, as a people, start to change that mindset in terms of how we see ourselves in the world, how we see our skin tones against in comparison to other skin tones, and a bit, not even comparing it, just embracing who we are as people, no matter what we look like, no matter what skin tone we are, no matter what race we are, whatever, just embracing who we are as people and just basically trying to be the best that you can be. I think it's a sentiment to just moving things forward globally rather than us being, brainwashed by this thinking that we can only be certain things because we look a certain way.
All right, cool. So yeah, people. So it was an interesting conversation about colorisms and colonialism and how it's affected us in this day and age, empowering our kids, and just general discussion over a domino game and some
Dead man's
man's
toes.
fingers, more like King Kong's fingers, boy.
one finger, yeah?
Yeah, one finger. Mac likes 2 fingers. All right, people.
Depends.
Yeah, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, guys, and we shall see you next week for another episode of Rum Reason. Thanks for watching.
I won't be back.
Just a finger.